Everyone. I'm going to talk to you about the October forecast. We're going to dive into what is transiting, but we're mainly going to talk today about the full moon in Aries and the new moon in Libra. Very powerful energies, and I think that it's really worth discussion. And of course, I'll let you know where that's going to fall in your solar chart. This is going to be if your sun, moon, or rising sign is in any of the ones that I discussed with you today. So, just kind of a breakdown of what we have going on this month. Mercury is going to get into Scorpio. That's going to happen on the 6th, which is the same day as the full moon in Aries. Mercury moving into Scorpio is kind of like, hey, what are you thinking about? What are you talking about? Get ready for some sort of transformation. But oh my goodness, don't forget the full moon in Aries, all about your head. What kind of ego driven communication is there going to be? Let's just make sure that we take a step back and really think about the communication that we are about to enter into. Okay, Aries likes to kind of shoot from the hip and really just say what's on their mind without thinking. Just take a step back. Okay, definitely keep in mind that you're going to have that feeling of wanting to fight for yourself, for your individuality, for your right to exist. Okay, that's Aries. Definitely when it's opposing Libra, where the sun is, which creates the full moon, there's that little bit of tension. It's kind of like a rubber band is expanded all the way and it's about to pop. Okay, so that energy is on high. So when we pair that with Mercury moving into Scorpio, that's an energy that can kind of combust. It can become a little bit more dramatic than it needs to be. Scorpio is a water sign and it's pretty emotional. It's got depth. So when you have that fire in Aries and your full moon with just that energetic maximum, you can expect things to be pretty extravagant. Okay, so that is October 6th. So definitely just kind of keep your wits about you. Anything that you end up projecting outward, it's a really good idea to take note of that because that, as we are entering into October and as we eventually get into Scorpio season, it's going to be all about transformation. And so those things are really, really nice to actually become aware of instead of get upset about. If you do catch yourself projecting at someone else, at yourself, whatever it is, just maybe take a note, put that in a journal, say, oh my gosh, this is what I lashed out irrationally or whatever it was. Write it down, and then you can take that when the energy gets a little bit slower and lower, and you can look at it and figure out what you need to do to become aware of how to heal from that, because there's a lot of healing energy here too. And then Venus will enter Libra on the 13th, which is nice because Venus rules Libra, and that's a very loving planet. So it's a very loving spot for Libra in its own sign. Um, Pluto is also going to go direct that same day in Aquarius still. So we're done with Capricorn for a long time, so that's good. Direct motion Pluto is nice. There could be that little power surge, where we might want to kind of like take back control. We the people, for us, by us, kind of a vibe, but it's not going to be quite as intense as it has to be, especially like it was when it was in Capricorn. But now that it's in Aquarius, it's kind of like we're thinking about the group dynamic. So yes, we will have our voice. We will want some change, and we've been wanting change, and we've been striving towards it. So that kind of stuff is going to continue, and we may actually start seeing some progress in that area. So it's definitely not a bad thing. And then in a couple weeks after the full moon is the new moon, which will be in Libra, and that is going to be just I think it's at 28 degrees of Libra too. So check where that is in your chart. If you don't know, reach out. I will um, show you how to read your birth chart. I can do a birth chart reading for you. And that is going to bring a lot of balance to our relationships. It's probably also going to bring a lot of peace and harmony in general, especially since we kind of begin the month with that, like, this is all about me. What do I need to do? And then you're kind of learning from all that as the month moves forward, and you go, wow, I have finally found my balance. So really, there are beautiful ways to look at this. So again, 28 degrees of Libra, and the full moon is at 14 degrees of Aries. So find out where those fall in your chart. Otherwise, I will go forward and tell you all about the solar chart and what it has and where it's going to fall for you. So that gives you a relative idea. It's not perfect, of course, but it is a general idea, and it's going to still be very beneficial for you to know. So that new moon on the 21st. And then the day after that, on the 22nd, Neptune's retrograde is going to move backward into Pisces. So that could be a little bit of kind of confusing energy, but it's also Neptune and Pisces. You know, Neptune rules Pisces, and that is a very dreamy um, energy, anyways. And it's just probably going to have us all wanting a little bit of solitude and privacy. It's the day after the new moon. We're not going to have a whole heck of a lot of energy anyway. So, new moon, no moon, you know, there's not a lot going on. It's definitely everybody's time to kind of chill out. And so that'll be kind of a nice timing for that. So we can all go, okay, let's just hang out and, you know, make it an early night, do whatever we need to do to kind of, you know, have that solitude and privacy and become aware of whatever it is our subconscious is going to try to get up for us. If that's dreams, maybe you just want to go to bed early, you could have some intense dreams. That's definitely possible. And on that same day, the sun enters Scorpio. um, so that's always going to bring a little bit of that transformation and energy, that death and rebirth. Some secrets could come to light. That's what it's all about. Scorpio energy is very deep, transformative energy that is going to be highlighted towards the end of the month and into the next month. So I think we're all kind of ready for that. You know, there's just so much happening on in general in our lives that we're all kind of pushing for that transformation. We're all ready for that positive change. So just look forward to it. Definitely keep in mind that there's some massive energy this month. Libra will definitely help tone it down. Venus will help tone it down, and just use all of those little lessons that come up for you as information so that you can prepare yourself for the times ahead. One day I do want you to be a little bit aware of, I don't talk about Chiron very often, but October 23rd, Jupiter will be squaring Chiron. That's going to give a little bit of that tension. Jupiter does expand what it touches. So, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So that's going to be wherever Chiron is in your chart is kind of like where you've been wounded, usually as a child. And it's something that you have to move forward through and get healed first so that you can assist others in that sort of healing. So whatever that is for you, Jupiter will make that known. If you're unsure of where it is that, say, Chiron is in your second house, your values, your worth, okay, things like that. If Jupiter is squaring Chiron in the second house, you may have a rough day feeling like you really need a boost in your self worth. Remember this energy and understand that it's just there to help guide you toward what it is that you need to be working through. So it's really there to assist you. Let the planetary energies work with you, and use them for your highest good. And then Mercury is going to enter Sagittarius on the 29th, and we will be into November after that. So Mercury is going to ask for truth in Sagittarius. We're going to be finding out a lot of. All right, Aries. As normal, I am starting with you, but it's pretty great because the full moon is in your sign. So if you are a sun, moon, or rising in Aries, this is definitely your month. Okay, it's it's all about rebirth, and it's gonna definitely have that link to your relationships because the full moon is opposing Libra, right? So although it's in Aries and that's you, you are kind of trying to find that balance between yourself and the other. And it doesn't necessarily always have to be an intimate relationship. It could be a child and yourself, or a cousin, or a boss, or a friend. It's anything. Um, Oftentimes it is that significant other, but it doesn't have to be. So those kinds of things are going to be theming for you. Definitely keep in mind your attitude with this upcoming full moon and how energized it's going to have you. It's your turn to lead others. You're used to this energy a lot more so than other people, and they might not know what to do with all of that pioneering, self starting energy that is motivated and fast acting and ruled by Mars and ready to run. And, maybe you should let everybody know that some physical exercise is really good, taking a walk or a run, things like that. But definitely keep. Um, Keep it toned down as far as like in unsafe environments, like on the road, things like that. You're just really going to want to make sure that you're being mindful. So, of course, this is happening in your first house. That's going to be, it can bring about personal issues, it can bring about, identity shifts, things like that. But it can also just really elaborate on how much you really are worth, what your worth is, and kind of standing with your boundaries and saying, "Hey, this is who I am. Take it or leave it. This is who I am in all of my truth." Um, you know, of course, you might want to go the take it or leave it route, but in the new moon in 2 weeks, you'll realize, because it'll be in your seventh house, okay, maybe I was a little harsh. Maybe you were being a little harsh on yourself. Maybe you were projecting out to the other person. But you'll have that time to really work on that communication. You're going to be going through all of these transformations, and things like that. And also, Venus is going to be moving into Libra too, so that's also going to enter your seventh house. So it's not like you're going to break down all of your relationships. It's not like anything isn't going to be supported in that balance for you. You will be fine. But yes, it's going to be a first and seventh house axis for you. That is really the main thing. So be mindful of that. What is good for me? What is good for we? That's going to be the theme. All right, Taurus. So the full moon that is coming up on the 6th in Aries is going to be in your 12th house. So that's going to be a little bit interesting because you're going to kind of want that solitude and privacy, but you'll have that expansive energy because of the full moon. Plus, it's in Aries, and so that's ruled by Mars. So it's like you have this action energy, but you want to do it kind of by yourself and hidden away. Okay, so, and that's totally fine. You can do that. You probably have a really good spot in your own home that you could make a real comfy little spot. Even if you just want to work out, do you have a treadmill at home? You might find yourself doing things like that a little bit more. Whatever action you can take, but in your own private world, is likely what's going to come up for you. And then the new moon is going to be in the 6th house. So that's going to be in areas revolving work, your daily routine, your acts of service, things like that. So are you looking for a job still? Is there sort of some kind of daily routine that you're trying to tweak and adjust? Are you just trying to get something going with your health? Is there a new diet that you've been wanting to try, or a new exercise regimen that you're trying to do, anything like that. These are definitely good times to focus on that. And in a new moon, definitely plant those seeds of intention, and don't expect change immediately, because that seed does have to grow. You have to nurture it. It does, it's not just a plant immediately. You've got to really work that soil, and you have to water it, and you have to be intentional about it, and allow those things to come to fruition. The new moon is all about the harvest. And when the full moon comes next month, um, you'll probably see some of those things ready to come to fruition. So don't think that anything's going to happen right away, but definitely use this opportunity to really kind of focus your energy in that, and see what it is that you're trying to improve with your daily routines, what you want to do for your work, and how are you going to get your health back on track. Anything like that. So, of course, we're going to have the sun moving into Scorpio. That's going to happen in your seventh house. That's going to be all about your partnership. And Scorpio is definitely a very deep, it just has so much depth in that sign. So, there could be some massive connection with you and your significant other. So, that's pretty cool. Um, Definitely keep in mind the balance that you need between your self-care and, you know and the bonds that you share in the partnerships. It all brings growth, and Libra is all about kind of that balance and nurturing. And oftentimes we are so ready to have that give and take that we might self-sacrifice. But that Aries new moon is going to say, whoa, whoa, before we go and do that, let's make sure that we are really knowing what we need. What boundaries do we need to set? Let's talk about us before we move forward. And I think that's fantastic. It's a really good eye-opening experience, and it's what's happening this month. So let's roll with it. Okay, Gemini. The full moon is going to happen in your 11th house. That is the house of your friendships, um, humanitarian efforts, groups, and things like that. So um, you might want to kind of consider what is coming to a head in that group dynamic. Is there something that you've been working towards? Likely that's the case, because Gemini, you're always working towards something. You've got those grand ideas, um, and you're ready to pioneer. Okay, we're going to move into Aries in the house of your friends and your groups. What's going to get started for you? Um, and then, of course, the new moon 2 weeks later will be in the fifth house. So that's going to be your creative self expression. That's going to be your fun. That's going to be romance. That's going to be your children. Okay. So, what kind of fun activities, what kind of just creation are you going to be planting the seed for? Definitely keep that in mind. And I think the Aries new moon, or the Aries full moon rather, will give you some ideas, because, oh, Geminis love the ideas. And the full moon is going to be just a rush of energy. And, let's not forget, the Mercury is going to be moving into Scorpio on the same day. So we're really going to be thinking in terms of transformation. How can we transform what group dynamic plans we have into something golden? What are we going to do? That Aries pioneer attitude is really probably going to help. You're going to have that motivation. This will be really fun. Definitely start writing down whatever comes up for you. And then, of course, during the Libra new moon in that fifth house, you're going to also probably be able to plant some seeds with some beautiful creative energy. And it's going to be, of course, through love in Libra. And, that's a really good way to operate. And try not to let the square between Jupiter and Chiron um, mess with you too much. Just allow that to be a learning experience if there is anything that comes up. And I think that you've got a good enough relationship with whatever group it is that you are forming this creative adventure with, that you can probably talk about those things, and you can be sure to tie that in, allow that transformation to not only heal you, but heal others. You could weave that into your work in a creative way. It's beautiful. But that's going to be happening. That square is going to be between your second and 11th house. So that's going to kind of trigger that same area. But again, we know how to get through stuff. We can definitely move forward, and remember that right around the corner is going to be Scorpio. So that transformation is going to occur no matter what. All right, Cancer. The Aries full moon is going to be in your 10th house. Okay, so your career is going to be on your mind. You are probably going to be fighting for something in your career. Are you fighting for a raise? Are you fighting for a new career? Are you trying to really begin something new? There's so much energy in an Aries full moon, and with it landing in your 10th house of career, your public image, how is that going to play out for you? You are a Cancer, so you're nurturing, of course, but you're going to have that motivation and that push. And although you're nurturing, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're there to nurture others. You may have to nurture yourself by doing what you need to be doing, because Aries is going to say, hey, don't forget about me. And what is it that we're going to need to do? I do need more money, or I do need this, so what kind of things is that going to have you going through? Now, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be career focused. It could, of course, just kind of be the way you present yourself in life. Um, Whatever your public image really is. So that's something that is going to be highlighted for you. And then the new moon will be in your 4th house, which is beautiful. That's your home, your roots, your family. And that's a very loving new moon. Okay. It's in Libra, and you're going to have some fresh opportunities, for building a new foundation, whatever that may be. Plant your seeds of intention around whatever is best for everyone. Libra is very fair and balanced. What's going to be best? And you won't forget about yourself. Don't worry. That Aries full moon isn't going to let you. So you don't have to worry about any of that. You've got the roadmap all month long. So once we get to that new moon, you're going to know exactly what you want, and you're going to be able to make those good choices with your intentions. Just definitely do what you do best and nurture those intentions. Allow them to grow into something beautiful. Oh, Leo, Leo, let's see. The full moon is going to be in your 9th house. So you're going to be thinking about getting out of town. Maybe what's your big picture? What's your plan for the future? What kind of beliefs have you really begun to realize that you just are setting in stone? Are you expanding in the way of education? Is there some sort of peak to your learning? What are you learning? What are you teaching? Okay, so those themes are going to come up for you. That full moon, that full energy, that Aries self starter, motivated fighter. Okay, you definitely could engage in some sort of political debate. So be mindful of how you are with your reactions. Understand that walking away is an option. We'll put it that way. Okay, so if you're actually angry, just let it go, and then take that information and say, hey, what made me angry? And then learn from it. It's okay to have these feelings. It's okay. We've got all of these energies and all of these emotions, not because some of them are wrong, but because they just are. And what we can do with the ones that aren't from love is we can learn from them. Okay. And you can turn that into whatever expansion is going to be coming from this full moon being placed in that ninth house. And then, of course, your new moon will be in the third house, and that's Libra for you. So you're going to have kind of that that harmony in your communication, okay? That real nice way of saying, hey, who knows? It could be about whatever happened on the 6th, okay? It could be about whatever you've learned from having that full moon be in your ninth house of your higher mind. And you'll kind of find the right way to communicate these things, and you've really got that beautiful balance going for you. And new moons are all about beginnings, right? So, what are you going to create? Maybe you're going to start writing a book. Maybe you're going to start reading a book. It's all about communication in the third house. There's also some energy for siblings. So, if there's any kind of um, communication that needs to be had with a sibling, it's a really great time to do that. And you've got that Libra energy, that Venus push. It's very loving, it's very happy, joyful. And just remember that there are other energies going on this month. And so you kind of have to take all of that into account and allow it to not always make sense. Okay. Sometimes there are just energies that have you really stuck in your own thoughts. And that's okay, because Mercury moving into Scorpio is going to say, hey, what is it that I'm thinking on such a deep level? And then you can do whatever you want with that. Communicate it, write it down, journal. You're going to be learning a lot this month, so just take it one day at a time, and live through love. Virgos, it's all about money, okay? We've got the Aries full moon in the eighth house. Oftentimes, that's other people's money. It's also intimacy. It is the culmination of other people's resources. Um, Transformation in general. Definitely something's going through a major transformation, and it's probably you. This full moon is in Aries, so this is kind of about the self, the identity, right? Maybe because you are a Virgo that you're kind of saying, "Hey, I'm being too selfless. This is what I need so that I can be balanced." Speaking of balance, going into the Libra new moon, right? So you're getting all these answers, and then 2 weeks later that new moon is going to be in your second house. That is your money, your resources, your personal values of yourself, okay? Your values in general. So those are all things that are going to come up for you this month. And that's pretty cool, because you're sitting there going, yeah, it is important to have personal boundaries. It's also important to have resources. It's also important to be fair with your resources. How is that give and take going to look for you this month? There's definitely a transformation coming up. It's not only in the eighth house, which is Scorpio's house. Okay, so that's already the house of transformation, but we've also got a lot of Scorpio energy as well. And so when we add all that together, we're really talking about what's getting transformed. It seems to me like maybe there's a relationship. I wonder if maybe you're moving forward with someone. Maybe that there is some sort of just communication about what it looks like if you do join your resources, your money, your materials, whatever that looks like. And there's also that deep connection with that Scorpio energy. So be excited for that. There's a lot coming up for you. um Neptune retrograde will retrograde back into your seventh house, and that's Pisces, and that's the house of partnerships and your relationships and things like that. So of course that little bit of confusion might say, like, okay, well, let's not solidify any plans just yet, but it's totally fine. Put a pin in it. You guys kind of can go through whatever it is that might be pros, might be cons, might be whatever, and just fine tune that stuff. You've got plenty of time. You're going to really have that new moon energy to just kind of plant the seed and watch it grow. So no rush on that. And as we get into 2026 anyway, we're going to be seeing a lot more forward motion with the other planets that are retrograde right now. So allow that time to kind of just go how it's going to go. And that's the information for you. And you've got a lot more going on as far as energy, but definitely expect some transformative adventure. Libra, it's your month. All right, your full moon in Aries is going to be in your seventh house. Partnerships, relationships, um, any kind of that. It's so interesting because of course that's Libra's natural house in the zodiac, but in this case you will be opposite from that. So that Aries is going to go, hey, where do I come in this relationship? It's going to say, what are my needs being met in this relationship? And you're going to really have that energy. You're going to be awoken to that. And what's great is you'll be able to kind of, with that Libra love, say like, hey, this isn't working out. This is not fair. This is what's got to change. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be obliterated, but you will get those answers. So allow that to come up. And remember that Aries does shoot from the hip. So maybe think before you talk. Communication is going to be a little bit kind of in the depths, so to speak, because we are getting that energy from Mercury moving into Scorpio on the exact same day. So there's definitely some, maybe, if you're going to say you're going to text somebody something that is a very deep feeling thing, why don't you make it in a note and just read it a couple times and make sure that you're saying what you want to say, because it is very important and it is very valid to be heard, seen, and felt in your relationships. But sometimes you need to understand that the other person may be feeling a lot of the similar things that you are. And there's really a good way to balance that out. So, of course, the new moon will be in your first house, and so it's such a beautiful dynamic for you this month, because you're kind of constantly having that me and we look to your whole month, and you're going, wow, that it's your month for relationships. Okay, and this is all about you. It's all about you making sure that you have been heard and seen and really valued for who you are. You're a beautiful person. I promise you that. And you might get an identity reset. You might kind of say, "Hey, this is the truth of who I am." Maybe I wasn't super clear on that. But now that you can use that new moon to plant the seeds, you can intend on being more truthful about who you are, about your needs going forward. That could really strengthen your relationships. And I think that's fantastic. Scorpio, the full moon in Aries is going to land in your sixth house: your work, your daily routine, your service to others, and your health. Okay, there's definitely going to be that urge, likely to get on the healthy train. Aries is about image and about um, just themselves, right? And so it's going to be about you, and you're going to go, man, this is not making me feel super good, and I'm going to change that. Or I'm going to start thinking about things differently. Maybe I need to take a walk in the mornings. Maybe I just need to clear my head. Maybe I just need to move my body. Maybe I just need to eat more broccoli. What's it going to be? I don't know. Those are the themes for you. What kind of daily routine are you going to end up implementing? What's going to come to a head? Okay, what is going to be shown to you that either is or isn't working? You just wait. The 6th of October will tell you. All right, so that full moon in Aries is all about, you know, kind of being true to who you are. And that energy is just expanded. It's huge. Um, and you're going to want to make sure that you are taking yourself in account. And if it does have to do with your health, expect some great change in that area. And if it has to do with your work, then maybe this is a beautiful time for you to ask for that raise. Okay, this is my worth. This is what I provide. I think it's time for me to get a raise. All right. Is that something that you can do? Why not try? And then in 2 weeks, when we have the new moon in Libra, I think it's in a beautiful placement for you. It's in the 12th house. Libra in the 12th house. A loving, natural, just chill out energy in the privacy of your own world. That 12th house is all about just seclusion and privacy and just, allowing yourself to just relax. And it's great because it's happening on the new moon, which is super low energy anyway. Totally dig into the low, slow vibe. You're going to have it's going to be needed. And I think that it's proof to you when that Aries full moon in your health house says, like, oh, let's go, 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 go. Okay. But then you're going to go, that new one is like, can we just wait? Can we just chill? Let's take a day off. You've been doing great. Let's just let our body relax. Maybe it's a good time for you to just kind of chill out. And you know what? All of those things are great because you can see what kind of stuff comes up for you. When your body is active, it allows your thoughts to actually be a little bit clearer too. And so when you're in that spiritual space of that 12th house and you're allowing that subliminal thought, that message to come up into your conscious awareness, that's going to be real clear for you. And going forward into Scorpio season, you're going to be ready to celebrate your birthdays, feeling happy and just awesome. So enjoy the month. Okay, Sagittarius, the full moon in Aries is going to be in your fifth house. Don't have too much fun. Okay, have fun. No, seriously, it's going to be in your house of fun, creative self expression, romance, things like that. You might just really want to just have a blast. You might throw a party. I mean, I think it's a Monday, so you might not, but you might want to. And honestly, it's a really good time for all of that energy to be used, like playing with the children. All right, that's another fifth house thing. The kids. What kind of creative thing can you do with that, with all of that energy? It's also sports too. So maybe you could join a sports team. Maybe you're just so into whatever game that is on that day that you might want to be careful not to throw the remote into the television. Okay. These things are possible, but you can also just set it down and blow off the steam hypothetically. And then in 2 weeks when we have the new moon in Libra, that's going to be in your 11th house. So that's a good time to tell all your friends about how you handled your Aries full moon. It's in your house of your friends, okay? Social events, humanitarian efforts, things like that, groups. It's a really good time to find balance in those friendships and in the groups, the dynamic that you have going on. Libra is all about balance, of course, and that Venus energy, that loving energy, is going to be all surrounding you in that moment. It's, maybe there's a new kind of social network that you've been trying to achieve, or some sort of dream that you've been trying to kind of work towards. Those kinds of things that you've really got that energy right now to set some really pure intentions in that way. Um, and you also do have that kind of moment to recluse into your private world, because when the sun moves into Scorpio, that's going to be happening in your 12th house. So that's going to give you a chance to reflect. Okay. So that's beautiful. I mean, that's all happening right around the same time as the new moon. And you're going to be setting the purest intentions for the month ahead. So, do what you do best, do it in truth, and enjoy the month. Capricorn, The full moon in Aries is going to land in your fourth house. It's all about your home, your family. It could be real estate, whatever's going on for you. Um, is there some sort of energy surrounding something new? What is beginning for you in the realm of your home? Are you looking for a new home? There's definitely going to be a lot of energy. If you're looking to move or if you're looking to renovate or do anything like that, that energy is all there for you. Um, Definitely beware of what kind of ways you're communicating to your family. Um, we've got that Mercury going into Scorpio in the same day as the full moon, and that full moon is in Aries. And since it's all landing in your fourth house, you might just want to be conscious of that and be sure to, instead of maybe having like a communicative, speaking way, you don't communicate with words. Okay, communicate in actions. Why don't you go play catch out in the backyard? Something like that. Just do it through action because you're going to want to be acting, right? You're going to want to be moving. Um, and how cool would it be to be moving around with your family? Okay. Um, you could go on a drive, things like that, but I don't really recommend it. Not on a full moon. I think avoid it if you can, especially on an Aries full moon. But once the new moon comes around in Libra a couple weeks later, you're going to have that 10th house. Okay, that 10th house energy, because you've got fourth house for the full moon, so it's going to be opposite that. It'll be in the 10th house. And that is Capricorn's natural house. So that's going to be really nice. You're going to be able to feel that like new initiation of that energy, being like, okay, cool. These are the intentions that I set. This is how I get back on track. Think like you always do, Capricorn. Think top down. This is my goal. How do I make it happen? Plant those seeds of intention. Maybe there's a career cycle that is just going to be a fresh start for you. What is it that is going to keep you kind of on the top? These things are definitely going to be brought up for you this month, so enjoy that. Take note of what comes up and do everything in love. Aquarius, the full moon in Aries is going to be in your third house. That's a lot of communication, okay? And Aries is going to want you to communicate really fast. So if you're going to talk really fast, then just make sure that other people are listening because they might not be able to hear you very well and you might just need to slow down, okay? Aries is all about fast movement, action. Let's take action on this plan. Sometimes it's fine. Okay. And Aquarius, you love your little wild, innovative ways of thinking. And oftentimes you're the one who we should all ask what we should do because you've got such good insight and such good forward future oriented ways of thinking that it always works. But now you've got that Aries energy and you're going to want it now. So definitely kind of learn from that communication style. Maybe don't make any huge decisions unless it's something that has been on your mind for a long time and now all of a sudden it clicks and it all comes together and you're ready to start. That is totally possible. Now, the new moon in Libra 2 weeks later is going to be in your ninth house. Okay, so that's going to give you a fresh perspective on your higher belief system. What kind of plans do you have in regards to, higher learning or expanding your mind? What beliefs are going to be kind of coming up for you? Um, have you been thinking about higher education? Are you just super into something lately and you really want to pursue it? It's a really good energy to kind of create that list of things to do in that way. It's also in your ninth house is all about long distance travel too. So you might find yourself traveling or you might find yourself making plans to travel. Um, Things like that. So there's definitely some rethinking as well. I will also mention in your second house of finances. Um, and I say that because Neptune is going to be retrograding into that house in Pisces. And of course, that might allow you to kind of revisit what your game plan is for making your money. And that might be the thing that has you planning to go out of town. Maybe you need to make your money in, a more distant place. Who knows? And that is still in a retrograde motion. So you're not going to necessarily have all the answers just yet, but it is giving you that energy to revisit it. So allow yourself to have these energies kind of guide you on their way and take it one day at a time. All right, Pisces. So the full moon in Aries is going to be in your second house. That's the house of money, your values, your stuff, okay, your material possessions. Um, that's great. A full moon in your house of money. Let's go. Okay, what's coming up? Are you making a whole bunch of money right now? Did you sell a big job? What is going on? Is there something that's coming up about your personal values or your self-worth? Those are definitely things that could come up for you, and take all that information and use it for the best. Okay, take note of whatever is coming up, even if it's something to do with your finances, like, hey, whoa, that worked out really well. Or, hey, that didn't work out so well. Where did all my money go? Whatever it is, it depends on where you focus your energy. As always, do everything in love, stay positive, and positive, loving things will happen for you. Um, in the couple weeks later, with the new moon in Libra, it's going to be in your eighth house. Okay, so that's going to be kind of like shared resources, other people's money, or also intimacy, and whatever financial cycle is kind of coming up for you. So there's definitely that energy towards you and the other. How is that going to culminate? What kind of financial resources are you creating together? Um, there's definitely maybe some illusions that need to kind of get busted, because that eighth house is also about transformation. So there could be a way that maybe you help your partner transform their money and their resources. Maybe it has something more to do with that. It definitely depends, and you're going to find clarity. Okay, that's what this month is all about. It's a huge turning point, as is this whole year. Get ready for whatever comes. Okay, definitely don't worry about feeling that exposure in that Aries new moon, because it's going to happen in your second house. And I'm pretty sure that everybody's okay with having a boost in their finances. So I wouldn't worry about that. And then when Mercury moves into Sagittarius at the end of the month, it's going to be moving into your career house. So you're going to be thinking kind of big, in truth, what's going on with your career. So there's like all this financial energy, but then also with your career. So maybe you even get a raise by the end of the month. Maybe you switch careers. Maybe you feel that in truth this isn't the right career for you. It could be that. It could be the fact that you are in truth ready to promote. And there's all these things that can come up. So enjoy the time, and we'll see how it goes. All right. October is going to bring a huge mix of clarity, powerful transformation, new beginnings. What kind of things are going to be going from Libra into Scorpio. We're going to do a deep dive into a lot of things. We've got the Aries full moon. So we're all going to be real ready to talk about what our needs are. How are we going to move forward? And then that Libra new moon saying, this is how I get exactly what makes everything balanced out for me in my life. This is how I can set the intentions for the month ahead. And this is exactly what I need in order to do that. And don't forget that mid-month Venus enters Libra, so there is that massive love for all of us. Okay, So wherever any of the energy is moving around in your charts, Venus is going to be there to kind of double up on love and say, hey, don't forget about you. You're loved. Everything about what is going on in your life, in your chart, in astrology in general, is love. So definitely feel that empowerment, because that's going to be a really nice, loving tone to all of this massive transformation. And then to keep that momentum going with that Libra new moon, you're really going to kind of just have that nice easing into Scorpio season. And all of those answers are going to come. And then you're going to go, okay, cool. Well, now that I've got these answers, how do I transform all of this into what I want? How do I make this work for me? Okay, Scorpio is going to help you with that. Scorpio loves transformation. You're all good. And then by the end of the month, when Mercury moves from Scorpio into Sagittarius, it had given you almost that whole month to really think in depth. And then, boom, now you're thinking in truth. Okay. And that's beautiful. So take all of this awesome energy that we have all month long and use it for the best. Okay. Use it to figure out who you are, how you want to be, and do everything as authentically as you possibly can, because you're already amazing. Um, the themes that we have, in short, are definitely going to be that some truths are going to be revealed. That's for sure. Secrets busted. We're going to definitely find out how to find balance in love and harmony, not only with others, but with ourselves. There are some huge transformations, and your dreams are definitely still very much in the forefront of your life. And if you need that reminding, Neptune will remind you when it moves back into Pisces, hey, this is what we were dreaming. Let's make sure that this is still the dream that we have, because we've got all this energy and everything's starting to move forward and we're ready to go. So that's a beautiful thing. Okay. Um, and there's just so much empowerment with the community and spiritual clarity. I mean, you know, it's kind of like that fiery release into a peaceful reset. Okay? It's a pretty cool month to me. So let's learn from it. Let's really feel empowered. Take our control back. Only feel control for what we can control. Okay? Take back our need to, make that go away. You don't need to control every little detail of everything. Only worry about what you can control. Let everything else kind of just peacefully work itself out. And it's all going to transform and it's all going to happen in your favor. A big lesson is balance this month. Remember that it's not found outside of us. We create our own balance. Okay, so of course we have that Libra energy that is supporting that balance for us, but what it's truly doing is giving us the answers and nudging us to tell us where we need to find that balance. And we find that by creating it. Definitely keep that in mind. And before I go, of course, the sign of the day I have chosen is truth. Your pointer finger up your chin and out. The truth. This is the truth. It is a fact. It is true. My truth. My truth. Your truth. The world's truth. All right. Great talking to you guys this month. Enjoy all of the energy that's coming up and live in love. Peace out.